The topic is the influence of social networking on students' academics and health conditions. It is by Dr. Mrs. Priscilla Koleka Ozoma, Imo State University, Owerri, Nigeria. Social networking has been and is becoming part of the academic environment, especially with the younger generation. Over the years, the performance of students in external examinations has been observed to be low, as low as 12%. The study, therefore, is conducted to find out the influence of social networking on the academic performance of secondary school students in Nigeria. The study was conducted in the eastern parts of Nigeria. Social schooling as a formal education is guided by well-defined curriculum. However, for continuity and development, every community must conserve its knowledge, values, and skills, and also hope to introduce innovations as is demanded. This will therefore ensure the relevance of that community to the international community, since the world is becoming a social, that is, the world is becoming a global village. Social networking is an online service and platform or site that focuses on building relationships, and young children, especially the adolescents in secondary schools and high schools, are engaging in the use of the social network. As a result of the extensive use of social network, people are becoming worried if there could be an influence, both negative and positive, on the side of the users. The study, therefore, the study problem can also be stated as a question. Can the use of social network among the younger generation affect students' performance at school? Can it also affect their patterns of communication? And is there any influence of social network on the health of the users, especially those in the secondary schools in Nigeria? Some questions were therefore posed to find out, to be able to solve the problem. One of them includes the extent to which the students' use of SNS could affect their academic activities, and also finding out the influence of social network on the health conditions of the users. And then to also find out the social network system that is mostly used, or the frequency of use of these social networks among school students in Nigeria. The design adopted for this study is the survey design, in which a part of the population is selected and information gotten from them could be used to generalize to the entire population. Mind you, that part is randomly selected. The study area is southeastern part of Nigeria, which is one of the 6 zones of Nigeria. And secondary school students in the public schools in that zone constitute the population, from which a sample of 600 of them were randomly selected. The instrument used to collect data for this information is a checklist that contains the different social network systems from which the respondents are expected to indicate their prevalence of use of these social networks, and also a rating scale questionnaire titled The Influence of Social Network on Students. The research questions were posed based on the purpose of study, and they include 3 of them, which covers the extent of use of the different social network systems, and also the influence of SNS on the students' academics, and also the extent it affects their health condition. The study found out that the social network systems that are prevalent, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, 2go, and all of them. The result also indicates that 77% of the respondents make use of the Facebook, which is the highest used social network system, followed by MySpace social network system, then the WhatsApp social network system. The least used social network system is the YouTube. To answer the second research question, which is on the influence of SNS on the academics of the students, the result found out that the students visit SNS every day. Although they visit SNS every day, the result is that it does not affect much their schoolwork. Their schoolwork doesn't suffer much, because from the finding, when the question was posed whether it affects their schoolwork, their mean response was 1.97, which is much lower than the item mean of 2.5. They also affirmed that the time they spend on social network does not affect them much, given that based on the question whether the time spent affects their term results, they indicated on the negative a lower value of 1.96. On the average, it was found out that the influence of social network on their academics gave a result of 2.38 mean, which is also lower than the item mean of 2.5. As a result, you can say that the SNS does not affect them much in terms of their academics. Then on the health conditions of the students, it was also found out that these students, their response on the preference and excitement of internet to spending time reading or meeting friends is 2.22, which is still also lower. And when posed the question that was posed on them whether the SNS encourages them in cheating, their response is 2.61, which is higher, which means SNS leads to a psychological problem of cheating in examination. SNS also affects their relationship between them and their lecturers and even their students. The student-teacher relationship is affected, given that their mean response is also bigger than the item mean, which is 2.73. 2.73 as against the item mean of 2.5. They also affirmed that the constant use of SNS affects their vision. And with a mean of 3.06, SNS also makes them not to perform, causes difficulty in performing some tasks. Therefore, SNS has some negative health implications on the students. But on the question whether they feel moody or depressed or nervous when online, they affirm that they do not, given a disagreement mean of 2.24, that they do not feel depressed, they do not feel moody as a result of the use of SNS. The implications, therefore, is that there are some deficiencies based on the use of SNS. It affects their health conditions. It also affects their relationship. So SNS has some negative health issues. It is therefore recommended that parents should monitor their words use of SNS. And the insistence on uncensored access or not having uncensored access to SNS should be sustained. Students therefore are advised to control their use of SNS. Thank you very much. Bless you.